Colorado family's tough decision is the latest focus in our Uncovering America series. Their transgendered 8-year-old son will get his wish and start going to school dressed as a girl, and the parents truly believe it's in their child's best interest. The public school created 2 unisex bathrooms for her to use, and teachers will call her by her new female name. Packets of information about transgendered people will be handed out to parents and students, and experts will be on hand to answer any questions. Earlier, I talked about this with someone who knows the Colorado family personally. Kim Pearson is the parent of a transgendered child that is. When Kim's daughter was 14, she said she wanted to live life as a boy. A lot of people would say that 8 years old, 8, is just too young to decide that you want to be a different gender. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I've done a lot of research on this, and according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, children have their gender identity formed between the ages of 3 and 5. So a child, by the time they're 5 years old, they understand what their gender is, and they're very clear on what gender they are. And it's not any different for kids like mine.
Yeah, and you would know more than most people. What was it like when your 14-year-old daughter came to you and said, I want to be a boy? What in the world was that like for your family?
You know, our experience is probably a little different than some families in that we had a daughter who pretty much lived like a boy growing up because, you know, girls are allowed a lot of freedom of expression as far as, you know, gender and the way they dress and how they wear their hair and everything. And so it was kind of a relief to me to get that information because I knew that my child was struggling. I knew that my child was depressed. I knew that he was pretty much disappearing before my eyes as a person, emotionally disappearing. And so when he told me, I felt relief because I felt if I knew what we were dealing with, then maybe there was something I could do to help him.
Did your child actually know at 8 years old and just hadn't spoken it?
Well, he spoke it in sort of different kinds of ways, not directly. Like some kids are really able to just verbalize and say, no, Mom, you're confused. I'm not a girl, I'm a boy. And they're very clear. My child was more along the lines of, hey, I don't do dresses, Mom. I want a flat top haircut, Mom. I want to play baseball, not softball. He was just very, you know, all around just very masculine, and I didn't discourage that. I just let him, I just went with it. And so he didn't have a lot of discomfort around it because he was freely expressing himself. It wasn't until his body started changing that he started having a lot of difficulty.
Well, we have some reaction from the school in particular that this 8-year-old will be returning to some reaction from some school officials and from a concerned parent. Let's listen to that right now.
Okay.
Our school is having to adjust a little bit and, you know, make sure that the staff is well informed about some of the challenges surrounding these different kinds of diversity factors.
I see this as being a very difficult situation to explain to my daughter as to why someone would not want to be the gender that they were born with.
Now, the child is going to be returning to the same school. This is going to be an unusual situation for a lot of these kids to deal with. Do you think it would be better for the child to just go to a different school?
Well, that's always an option that families explore. And, you know, I mean, it's always an option. Sometimes some of us don't have those options. I didn't have that option. There's only one high school where I live. So my child had to go to that high school. So, you know, sometimes there are options, sometimes there are not options. And you just have to do the best you can with the cards that you're dealt.
The school does seem to be trying to be rather incredibly accommodating. They're going to have unisex bathrooms. They've also released this statement. This is a statement from the Douglas County, Colorado schools. It says, we continue to be focused on providing a positive learning environment for this student and all students in the class and school that is free from harassment. As with many other students, this particular student brings a diverse set of circumstances to the school setting. This is a learning process. How well do you think the school is handling this?
I think the school is doing a fabulous job. I think there's a lot of pressure on them, and I think they've really stepped up, and they're doing the best that they can with the situation that they have in front of them. They're very supportive of all of their children, and that's all anyone could ask. I mean, that's all any of us ask. We just want kids to be safe and happy and be able to get their education.
No, well said. Kim Pearson, thank you very much.
Thank you.